Hello team and welcome in for your grand final hit of Between Two Posts. The major contenders have been decided. So the Chiefs and Canes going through to face off for the top prize in 2026. That's coming up this weekend. We're about to pull all their semi-finals apart. We're about to announce our Posty's winner of 2026 as well. The best Super Rugby Pacific player in Australia according to the BTP team. And without further ado, let's meet the team this week. Nick Phipps and Morgan Turinui. Men, how good. Like, you can come in with so much verve and jump when your teams haven't lost on the weekend, can't you? And the Socceroos have won as well. That was it.
Great weekend of footy, great weekend of sport, really. There was a lot going on. I actually watched the Crusaders game over in Crusaderville, Canterbury, in a Crusaders house, so he was not happy about the result. Flags half mast in the middle of Canterbury, but yeah, it was good couple of good games of semi-finals, and then the women's rugby over the weekend as well was a cracker.
How old is he, this Cantabrian?
He's my brother-in-law, so he's just the same age.
So he's had a good life.
Yeah.
He's seen a lot of wins.
I was certainly not keeping him in my thoughts and prayers. I think that the boys will be all right.
Yeah. Okay.
They'll be fine. Quick word on Socceroos too. I love when a nation gets around a World Cup, and they were fantastic. Parking the bus. Is there a rugby equivalent of parking the bus in the second half? Can you park a bus? No bus parking in rugby?
No, I think it's
That's just called survival, I think.
Just kick the cover off
kick
it.
Kick it to the, you know what.
Pick 9 sevens and you just kick it along.
Reverse bus park. No, they were terrific. And what also excited me about that was seeing how the nation got so attached so quickly to the Socceroos and knowing that could potentially be the Wallabies next year as well.
Yeah, that's the big thing too. It's like everyone wants to believe in the Socceroos, and you watch the first game and definite underdogs against Turkey. And then they perform like that, and you just want to get on the bandwagon. So it was great.
Really, really cool. Fellas, Chiefs Crusaders, nice tee up from you there, Fang, to get us into the first of our semi-finals from the weekend on Friday night. And this one was over inside the first 25 minutes in Hamilton, with the Chiefs going absolutely berserk.
Yeah, everything sort of rolled their way early on, and they just had their foot on the throat early. Just, Tommy fouls, double tries early on. Lalakai Foketi just sort of making us wonder what could be if he was still playing in a blue/gold jersey. Unbelievable start, and they really worked their way down the field, and the pace, the Crusaders couldn't live with the pace of the game.
They scored 5 tries in a 14-minute period, and the game is over, as you said, Sean, at the 26-minute mark. And just everything, choice, skill execution, work rate, effort off the ball, players available as options, and, you work hard, you get a little bit of bounce of luck and whatever, but in every single thing they did, is it just quite simply the best 40 minutes we've seen, if not this year, in a while? Well,
and the thing was, it's really important to note, Crusaders didn't play badly. They were holding onto the ball, their skills was good, they were turning up physically in the contest, but the Chiefs were just too good, just powering over the line. You can't defend that there. Big, thick boy getting nice and low, driving over the line. After this, it was sort of just kept going one-way traffic. The Chiefs' breakdown was so good that they could just play with whatever they wanted to play with. It was brutal. In attack, they were hitting to hurt. They were making sure that the Crusaders knew that they weren't allowed to have a look at their ball.
How good's this try?
Phenomenal.
How good
just the speed here. Foketi as well, what a first half of footy. Turns up on the outside and they all link up together. Just incredible. Look at all the black jerseys turning up there. 3 or 4 of them could have scored that, and they were up 35-5 there. That's all one-way traffic.
But then wasn't it 40? It was 42-5 at half-time. 42-5 at half-time against the defending champions. That's extraordinary.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a theme too with the other semi-final too, but when Fang, you make that point about fast ball, if the Chiefs get fast ball, it's all over. The Canes get fast ball, exactly the same. That's the difference at the moment between those two sides and the rest of the competition. Crusaders when they do generate fast ball, they're good. Blues, not quite. Reds, outstanding with fast ball, can't generate long enough. That's the big one. These two teams, their effort at breakdown, their effort of ball carrier working hard on the ground to present, their effort of winning contact and those things, it all flows off the back of that. Yes, the amazing skill set, the shape that they practice, all those things. But when these two teams generate fastball and the way that they do it, rugby doesn't get much better.
We all always, fellas, talk about timing your run. In life, in rugby, everything in between, timing your run. And the Chiefs have had a couple of performances on the way through this year where you kind of went, yeah, okay, and then Mackenzie was out and you're going, oh, yeah, they were right. They're okay, but the Canes are the trendsetters, they're the benchmark. But over these last few weeks, the Chiefs could not have been any better, could they?
Well, the thing for me that made them look like the complete real deal is that the first half was all one-way traffic. Then the second half, Crusaders dominated possession and territory, and there were 3 or 4 try-saving efforts in that first 10 minutes of the second half that showed me that you've got the best team for the last decade attacking at them, and they're holding them out. They're working hard. They're stopping those tries. 46 minute, 60 minute, 43rd minute, 3 try-saving efforts, just the black jerseys surrounding the ball. And it wasn't one-way traffic. It was hard for the Chiefs. They had to work really hard to hold them out, and it showed that they're able to do both sides of the ball. It's not all razzle-dazzle, but they're also turning up in defence.
Yeah, I'm always intrigued sometimes at the mindset or the mental challenge for a team going in. This is a Chiefs team that have come up short against the Crusaders a lot over the last few years, trying to qualify for their fourth final in a row. So there's a huge hosting. They've got a huge amount of pressure. 3 weeks ago, they went to Christchurch and got beat in a match they should have won. Then they had the lucky sort of super point win. There's a few matches, the Reds game in Brisbane. Well, there's a few matches, as you mentioned, Sean, where they weren't perfect, but they just won their way through. That was in the changing before the game. If you're Luke Jacobson, if you're John O'Gibbs, if you're that team, if you're Dane McKenzie, you're saying, well, this is a generation-defining match for this Chiefs team, this one. If they fall short again against the Crusaders, if the whole setup's there and it's 4 years and they're not going to win a premiership, that's a huge amount of pressure. And they react to that pressure and expectation by beating the Crusaders 42-5 in 40 minutes of rugby. And the game is over. The game is over. All over. It was an outstanding performance, and I'm still being really bullish on the Canes. I'm sure we'll talk about them, but now suddenly, this is a coin toss final.
Well, they're saying that you need to lose to win a Jeff, but they've lost like three in a row, haven't they?
Yeah.
So that must mean they're super. Are they favourites? Will they be favourites?
Not in Wellington. No, and not. This Canes team. We've talked about some of the great teams, and they've got to go win it. But they're reminiscent of that 03 Blues team, where it just looked like no one could touch them.
Let's discuss Foketi from Waratah, and obviously Wallaby as well. How do I frame the question? What's been the difference for him this year to go into a title contending side and do, when he's been asked to do his thing, do it so well? What's sort of the difference between? Is it just one of those things?
Yeah, he's certainly had to work his way into the team as well. I think a lot to be said is sort of coming into a new environment that. He spoke the other day about being very supportive and, a real high-performance culture in there. For him, I think, as well, he's always been this player. It's just he probably wasn't surrounded with the cattle that the Chiefs have. And players can look really good in good teams. And like when they're just doing their role, doing their job, he trusts everyone's around them doing a really good job. Tupea's obviously inside him. He's one of the best centres in the world at the moment. But he's doing a really fantastic job seeing the space. And when he gets his opportunity, which we all love, he's taken it. So unfortunately, there was 3 or 4 of the Chiefs boys that failed to finish the game on the weekend, which is not great. Lalakai was one of them. Hopefully we can see him still find a spot into that team, because you can't say on form he doesn't deserve selection.
Yeah, do you think that high performance comment was a bit of a shot at the Tars? Like, was it looked thinly veiled, it looked to me like. And I think part of it too is when he's at the Waratahs when they were almost the baby Tars for a while. He had Harrison and Donaldson come out of Colts into a COVID environment where they were just, they had a few tough years. He had Super Rugby AU where he had to be the guy in the back line to really carry them. And I remember him remember him getting the ball and just having to carry into walls all the time. And the hardest thing about this Chiefs team would be making the team. Once you're there, it's almost the better the team, the harder it is to make it, and the easier almost it is to perform when you're there, because the great point about excellent teams is if you do your job, everyone else around you is doing theirs. So you just concentrate on doing your basic job to the best of your ability, which he did, and it looks like that.
Do you know, I also realised watching that game is that if we are ever in a position to open up completely cross-border runs of players where everyone's still available for the Wallabies, everyone's still available for the All Blacks, it is so easy to get behind a team and a player as well. In the same way James O'Connor did so well at the Crusaders. Like, I found myself really cheering La on Friday afternoon because you feel a connection with him because he's obviously a Waratah and a Wallaby. You want him to go well and you're cheering him. So I reckon that might be another... I think that would be representative across the entire competition for most fans as well. If they saw one of their players with another side, on the other side of the Tasman, they'd be like, go get him.
Do you find, Fang, that element that supporters sometimes are now more attached to individual players than teams?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. Like, coming from Japan at the moment, you've got these passive, like, massively aggressive, supportive fans because they're following different players. Jesslyn Colby, Artie Surveyor. You know, you've got all these new fans flocking to these random teams they've never heard of because Artie's going to Kobe or, you know, Nick Phipps is going to the Rockets. No, not that one. But, you know, it's very supporter-based, and I think that's the presence through social media as well. You know, they're running their own brands, they're running their own content, they're doing a lot of stuff, so it makes it very accessible to different sort of teams and groups.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, no.
Well, yeah, because as opposed to maybe switching off, if you're a casual observer of Australian teams, you're like, oh, O'Connor was there, the run to win a premiership, or Foketi, a second chance at a Super Rugby career. Yeah, there's some intrigue there.
Fellas, the other side of the coin of the grand final. Chiefs are booked. We flip it over and we look at the Hurricanes after they dismantled the Blues in stunning fashion. There's some great stats coming out online today by Shallon Rugby, it might be, who had worked out which club side in the world was first to 100 tries across the least amount of games this year.
Oh, I saw that, with like Bordeaux and everyone in there as well.
Great stats. And someone threw in one of the top league teams as well, and it's the Canes. And the manner in
by
which...
like 3 games too.
Yes. The manner in which they're running up these huge scores. Again, this is in a semi-final against the Blues, who were champions just 2 years back. Insane. The highlights were unreal. Let's look at them right now from the Cake Tin on Saturday afternoon. Thankfully, the weather was a little bit better for them as well after the typhoon hit their match against the Brumbies last week. But, I mean, it was the same in terms of their scoring early, Fang.
Yeah, the Blues sort of... There's a lot of questions around whether they sort of deserve to be there after 4 losses in a row. But the first half was an absolute arm wrestle, you know, both ways. Hurricanes maybe sort of like took the foot off the throat a little bit in that first half, sort of maybe looking forward to next week already. But the skills on show, like you said, the weather was good. The skills on show here. There was some fantastic tries. Both sides of the ball as well, you know, from the forward pack, from the back line. Really exciting game. But the Blues did really well in that first half by nullifying Love and the back line. Roygar was still running amok, but the Blues really sort of stopped that expressive, fast-paced, expansive rugby till that second half.
Yeah, even the whole 80, not just the first half. If the Blues play like that against any other teams in this competition except the Chiefs and the Canes, they win. The Blues played well, especially in the first half. They made the game exactly how they wanted it to be. They got their big players into the game. They made it very, very attritional. They had some really unfortunate injuries out of it as well, which hurt the way they could manage the game themselves. But they caused the Canes some problems. I had a great chat with Justin Harrison after the Reds match on air last week about this Canes team and the style. But the more we see the Canes, the more they have substance to go with that style. That they were asked some questions, they were able to just stay calm and composed. A couple of times they're like, oh, here we go, this is not the way it's supposed to go. And they were able to find that extra gear. They just seem to have an extra gear for it.
It's true, isn't it? And you might think, talking about those quick fastest to 100 tries, that they're just all razzle-dazzle and throw the ball around. They have a really well-worked system. Their shape is really, really good. And Love, he's able to just play the options there. There's always... Everyone's in the right spot. He has that pod off him, Love, that 3-man pod. Then he's got the space out the back. And then their ability to get the ball back and turn it over is just... Tries like this just happen all the time because they're just putting so much pressure on the opposition. This is just like a beautiful set-piece try. Direct, and then this one here, the tip-on, space out the back, so, you know, defenders are holding off, they're getting cut short, and, you know, it's this sort of detail in their game that makes you think they're not the razzle-dazzle team. They're actually just a really well-worked team.
Yeah. Or just give the ball to Levi Almour. That's one way to go as well.
Hold it to Almour out here on the wing. You're not stopping that, are you, the poor man?
Good luck.
They're the same. They're the same body shape.
Not Asafa, yeah.
Naholo and Amua, he could be up front and then he could be on the wing. They could switch positions, no problems, I reckon. Which is the try? Was it the lead up pass back in from Naholo? I think I don't remember if it's coming. It was a bit of a shady
71st.
yeah, it was a bit of a shady afternoon after club rugby. So Inari helps take them to 40, and they just keep pounding them in to end up winning with ease. This is the one I'm talking about. Yeah, over one, infield, outfield, back infield coming. No, outfield. Someone's coming up at the end. There he is again.
Unbelievable work from the Holo there to back up, be involved 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
But it was a great game in the way that the first half the Hurricanes really had to work for it, and then the second half they just put the foot down. You know, that intensity, dominating the breakdown. They've still got a little bit to iron out. Their set piece sort of struggled in a few little areas, but, you know, looking forward to next week, it's hard not to be able to back them to get the title.
I don't mind that either. Like they're coming into training this week, and the coach can say, we've got some improvements, we've got to work on this. It's easy for them to stay focused this week, I think, because they'll know if they get their set piece right, if they get their tactical kicking game right, well then I think they feel like they're the best team in the comp. And if they play to their capacity, they win. It's an amazing amount of confidence you can have to go, if we play to our capacity, we win this weekend. So they've got some key things they can work on structurally, but in terms of the way they can play the game, not even the Chiefs can probably go with them at their best.
Yeah, the Blues as well. Like, they were playing good footy, but they couldn't nullify it. They couldn't, like, play territory because the Hurricanes' counter-attack was so good. Their back three was just phenomenal. And then you're losing that territory battle and you're always on the back foot, and that's what the Canes will bring next week. Definitely it's going to be an exciting game. It'll be interesting to see how the Chiefs, because the Chiefs have a very dominant forward pack, so it'll be an interesting game. If the Hurricanes don't sort out their scrum and line out, then it's going to be a lot harder for the Hurricanes to get that fast-paced ball.
I know the Rugby Heaven boys will talk about it later in the week in terms of a preview, but if you're the Chiefs, what do you do? Because Mackenzie, a lot we've seen in finals footy, has just gone long down the middle a few times. They've wanted to dominate territory. It was one of John O'Gibb's messages at halftime against the Reds was territory, territory, territory. If you kick and you don't get it perfect, that can be it. Like, what do you do if you're the Chiefs? Are you going to the touchline? Are you trying to jam corners and put pressure on it?
Yeah, and then you've got to switch. Do you kick long and then change that to just contestables? You want to try and make it a 50-50 every single time because you know you've got Finney and got off-fire, you've got Morby, you've got Harkin coming back at you. So you try and nullify those threats by making it a bit more of a 50-50 rather than giving them a run at you. It'll be an interesting tactical game, and that's so good for a final footy. You love that stuff, sort of watching the tactics that they're going to be bringing into it.
Let me run some final preview questions past you. I want to get some tips out of the two of you. Let's start with Will Fehi Finangano for break the record for try scored in a season. Yes or no?
Yes. I think the final series this year hasn't been so much about defence, has it? It's been a lot about attack, who can score the most points, and Hurricanes have been scoring these score lines all year, so I think they're definitely going to still bring that attacking mindset, and there'll be a lot of space for those back three to exploit it.
Is he definitely fit?
Yeah, he came off just a precautionary on the weekend, so he'll be on there.
Yeah, he'll break.
You reckon he breaks it?
Yeah,
okay, tick for FF. Over under 60.5 total points.
Over 60 for both teams.
Well, the team that wins might score 60, yeah. Weather report? Range weather report?
I'll give you the conditions are the same as they were on the weekend.
Yeah.
Over?
Yeah.
Both got it.
Over.
Both got it going over.
Because you think, it's funny, you think often, it's a final or whatever, but sometimes momentum and theme of a final series just continues. And both of them have gone to... Every match has been high scoring. I think they just go toe-to-toe.
Next question, and I've got two more to go for you both. So who wins? Who wins?
I'm Canes.
You got the Canes?
It's hard not to back the Canes. But the way that the Chiefs break down on the weekend, that's a way to stop the Canes. So it'll be a lot tighter than everyone thinks.
Has a ref been appointed?
Oh, good question. Who do you think will be? I don't know that it has.
Probably
been.
O'Keefe.
O'Keefe.
Would have thought he'd...
Williams,
Gardner might get it.
Gardner?
O'Keefe and Gardner are the two best referees that we have in Super Rugby Pacific.
Geez, they've done a good job, the refs.
Gardner.
In the finals, they have been so good. They've been excellent, driving the pace of game and
just the communication they both have is so good for a player to be able to play.
Gardner's had a really good back end of the season.
And even when they maybe have had a little bobble, a little slip along the way in those games, the right team's won in the right fashion anyway. They've done such a terrific job. So don't know just yet. So both go with the Canes.
Important. That's important breakdown. I reckon Gardner will go much harder on tackler rolling away at breakdown. If Gardner's referee, the Canes will fancy their chances of getting quick ball.
Okay. Lastly, should the Canes win, who would win between 2026 Hurricanes and 2003 Blues?
Oh, look, mate. Like
Matches played under the roof in Christchurch, neutral venue.
Carlos is 53 years old. Like he's still fit.
Still can't lift in the line out back then, could they?
He could still run a marathon. Who would you have?
2003 Blues.
Would you?
Oh, mate.
Would you?
I wanted to play them.
Yeah, you did.
Like
You did.
Still got the scars, obviously. You didn't even finish. He was like, Blues.
You can't run at 7-2-2, but you can't run in the midfield. You get killed.
Yes.
Right. And then if they have a wave player out the back, you've got to worry about Howlett and Rapeni.
Oh,
That's impossible. You can't. It's impossible.
Yeah.
This Canes team is pretty generational, though. In
I reckon maybe. I reckon it's
but
close.
Yeah.
It's a good Ali Williams, one of my all-time favourites. He was in there too, wasn't he? 03, yeah.
Daniel Braid at 7 still. Xavier Rush still there
as well. That was a good team.
Good players.
Okay.
Loss in like career best form, like untouchably, arrogantly confident that year. Like it was like there's the highlight where they go coast to coast against the Crusaders, and they go all the way off their own line. Then he runs it over into the sideline to put the ball down, mucks around, and then he kicks it from the sideline anyway. Yeah, it's the Andrew Merton.
Pew, 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 pew.
Like it. A 10 like that in career best generational form.
Okay. And then lastly, I think we can say without too much doubt now that the Hurricanes are probably the hottest club side in the world right now. You're not going to. You can dip the toes. You dip your toes in there.
Canes
agree?
are the best team. People talking about Bordeaux versus Canes. I'd have gone.
Or what about
Toulouse at their best.
one of the Prem teams? No.
Toulouse at their best, with their best in.
Yep.
Maybe, but Canes.
I think as well, an interesting question is, so the All Blacks are going to be getting picked soon. Do you reckon the ABs are littered with Hurricanes? Can you play this style in an international game? Because
this is the best question.
Yeah,
this is the question.
Because there's been so many of these players, so many exciting players from Australia as well, who then it hasn't really transferred over onto the international stage. Now, can you play that style of rugby against, the best defences in the world, the Springboks, the English, those best teams? Can you play that exciting style?
Well, all evidence says no.
Yeah.
And so you've got a new coach. So it's different to... It's not like Razor's still there. OK, Razor's probably going to pick the same team. You get Dave Rennie in. You could conceivably pick a Canes 9, 10, 12, 13. You could go Roygaard, Love, Barrett. Proctor.
Yeah.
And not many people would bat an eyelid, which would mean Quinta Paya misses out. Yeah. Mackenzie's not there. They've almost got too much choice. And if they have to mix and match more than they had previously, there's lots of Blues, maybe guys on the fringe now, lots of Chiefs will make it, some Crusaders, some of them just have historical form that they have to be picked. It's a big mix and match.
There's going to be a fan group that's going to be upset.
Well, yeah,
there's going to be one or two fan groups that are going to be upset.
I'll tell you who's not going to be upset. Everyone watching the game this weekend between the Hurricanes and the Chiefs in Wellington. It is going to be an absolute beauty. Time to announce our Posty winner of 2026, and this man is about to join a long line of the best the game has ever seen in Super Rugby and Test level as well, Fang. Normally, we'll announce it, and then they will be also announced as the Rugby Australia Super Rugby Pacific Player of the Year.
They copy us.
They're big copyists. Yeah. It's fine.
When we're right, we're right.
And when you're right, you're always right. Orange whip, 3 orange whips. Okay, I'm going to give you the 5.
There goes that esteem.
I'm going to give you the 5-2. Okay, fellas, and then we will reveal our winner. So, Fang, a little drum roll for me, please. In 5th place on 16 points, Mr. Max Jorgensen. Mr. Max Jorgensen. Equal 3rd. I like this.
Tight.
We have got a couple of backs, one from Queensland, one from the Western Force. We have got Benny Donaldson and Jock Campbell, who came in with 18 points each. Good seasons, the pair of them, those two. This man, like a rocket in the West. He only played maybe 4 or 5 games all season long, in second position on 21 points. Dylan Peach.
Oh, wow.
That's incredible.
All backs,
all
5 to 2.
Backs for days. And the backs continue. The back continues here on 23 points, and our 2026 between two posts Posty winner is Ryan Lonigan.
Well deserved.
The wily captain. Oh, there he is. What a surprise.
He's buzzing.
He's overcome with emotion.
His spidey senses was tingling and he thought he might be a shot, and here he is, your winner. Run us through the year, mate. We have loved calling you. We have loved what you put out on the park. How would you describe your 2026?
Well, as the Brumbies sort of point of view, it was a little bit disappointing, really, especially the way we finished at the quarterfinal. But I feel personally, I played a lot of minutes and had good exposure, and I felt quite comfortable there around the boys. And I love playing for the Brums and putting them in a good spot. So I felt quite comfortable with where I was at this year.
Hey, Loners, mate, really good season. I know you've just been so consistently good this year. How did you come into this season? Do you set yourself personal goals, or is it all interlinked with the team? Like, how do you attack it? Because we all say this all the time. You've been so good the last couple of years, but you just haven't had that opportunity yet up in the Wallabies. Like, how did you build this season for yourself?
I've kind of found a way to do it over my whole career, really. I've probably nailed my preparation now, and I think that's come from multiple years of sort of toiling away really. And now I've set myself a few goals at the start of the week for each week, and they're usually pretty similar week to week, and then I'll mark myself on them at the start of the next week. And then obviously the team stuff sort of revolves, has its own sort of mindset there as well. So I think this year, just through like good exposure, good minutes, and having a good sort of injury-free run, I've sort of been able to grow some consistency through that.
And looking back on that Brumbies season that you referenced, the start was outstanding and some real quality there. Do you have a match or a moment or something for you personally that sticks out from 2026 with the Brumbies?
Probably that win in Christchurch is pretty special. To probably be our last game there and get a good result, and a result that we hadn't done there in a long time, if ever, I think. That's one I think I'll remember for the rest of my life. So that'd definitely be a highlight for the team and myself.
So now that the Super Rugby season's over, what's this sort of gap look like for you guys? Obviously, you and a few others will be hoping to be in that squad that's announced soon, but what's it look like? Is everyone going back and playing club footy or working towards that Super Oz competition?
It sort of depends what you're doing. We're currently about to start a little Wallabies camp now. I've got a meeting in about 20 minutes. And it's sort of a little hub, and then for the guys not involved in the Wallabies after that, we go play a bit of club footy back in Canberra, get out to the John O'Dent, and then that rolls into the Super AU, and I'm pretty sure Bernie's trying to line up a few games potentially overseas for the group that's still sort of continuing on after that Super Oz. So there's still a bit of footy on. It just sort of means the group breaks up a little bit. There's a few guys that might go play NPC or have a bit of time off. So it'll be an interesting little period.
Well, mate, as we said, you've been a joy to call, not just this year, but in the last couple of years as you've continued this ascendancy towards the top of Aussie rugby. Well done on a huge year, mate, and we hope you kill it when you play Test rugby for our country as well. Go get 'em.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There he is, Ryan Lonigan. Did I tell you many, many years back when he first broke in with brother Lockie, who likes to be known as Nos, long story, and visited them on the family farm down in Williamsdale, which is sort of on the outskirts of Canberra. It's beautiful family homestead. And the two of them, when they were kids, had built posts in the front yard and had spent hours and hours taking shots on posts. I think Lockie used to pretend to be Giddo. He was Giddo as a player. I can't remember who Ryan's was. But they've been in it for a long time and they're both flying, and now he is our Posty winner. Good family.
He's been
good players.
He's just been on the tip of everyone's tongue every game this season. He's been so consistent, and I think that mantle of leadership really suits him. I think he becomes a better player when he's got that behind him. I don't know if he's going to be able to make that meeting this afternoon because obviously after winning this, he's off to the pub. So would he tell the coach about that and he's just out, or?
Sorry, Joe.
Straight to sheaf.
Morgs and Fang said I can have
I've got a leave pass.
I'll give you a clarity session. But he, hasn't he, Morgs? He's been really good for a long time now.
They're outstanding. What we love is guys that are consistent through the season, but he's been consistent year in, year out now. He's a crucial leader at the Brumbies, often their captain, with great leaders around him. Alan Alatoa does that job as well, and they've got Slips and guys like that there. So I think the value that Stephen Larkham and the Brumbies place on him is evident. We've seen it in his performances. He's the one with the runs on the board in 2026 to be the starting Wallabies 9. How much historical influence of guys that have been in and around Wallaby squads will take part in that selection dilemma. But if you're picking the team on a guy whose complete skill set has been excellent this year, he's a very, very obvious option.
I'd love for him to kick on. He's done the yards. He's worked so hard the last few years and sort of unluckily hasn't really had a great run, but, this is his year and I hope he really puts his foot on it.
Just going over this Posty's list, how many of these guys you reckon will be there for that opening test match? Our top 5, Jorgensen, obviously Tick, Peach. I think we've got him framed up. Then Donaldson, Campbell and Lonigan. What do you reckon?
It's a tough one. I wouldn't be surprised to see Schmidt go for Carter Gordon at 10. You would have to think that Donaldson is... Yeah, so the Wallaby squad, there's 40-odd players now in camp now, starting a week's training together. The official Wallaby squad will be announced Friday.
Okay.
So June 19th.
Lonna's leaked it.
Hey?
Lonna's leaked himself.
Well, no, he's part of... They don't know if they're fully in it. He's in the 40. I was trying to see who he's rooming with. Often who you're rooming with. If you're with the skipper or something, it's normally a good sign.
Or his own room.
If you get your own room, you could be the next skipper. Or you snore too much and no one wants to room with you. One of the two. So there's that. So there's, all these guys will be in that squad. You would think. Jock Campbell is in this group of 40 guys that are there. James Slipper is part of the group this week, training with them. I think there's no real surprises who's been brought in for this extended squad this week. The official Wallaby squad, as you mentioned, June 19. I expect Jorgensen to start, Peach to start. I expect Lonigan to start the first test match.
Oh, nice.
Just give Tate some more time.
Yep.
I think he may be the one long-term without Jake Gordon there, but I can see Lonigan getting first crack. Jock Campbell, if you're picking a Super Rugby team of the year from Australia, he's your starting 15. It's once again Tom Wright. That's his jersey if he's fully fit.
And a bit like Tate, do you give him more time? Do you give him more time to just get his knee right and give Jock Campbell a leg up? Because you want to be able to reward guys with form. I think that's what the coaches want to be able to be seen as and rewarding on form. So it'd be interesting, that 15 selection.
Form tempered with the ability to play Test rugby. Like we're talking about the Canes, it's not you just pick the best team from Super and hope they go well to Test rugby. You've got to pick guys that you feel are suited to Test rugby, which is very different, will be refereed differently, will be played differently from these teams coming down in this Nations Championship, which is hugely exciting.
Well, Ryan Lonigan will be ready to go. He is our Posty winner of 2026. Fellas, as teased by you, Nick Phipps, the Super Rugby Women's competition was doing its thing across the weekend as well, and another cracking set of games across week 2 of competition. Let's start with the Waratahs going past the ACT Brumbies, who were going into that one with their tails up after beating Queensland last week. The Waratahs were going to stay unbeaten on the year, and guess what? They get it done, and it's our friend Matt Burke's daughter, Edie, who gets a first start as well on the wing, as Caitlin Leaney went really hard for the ladies in sky blue.
Yeah, and the Tars came out really fast. Their forward pack just dominated. Lanny with her 25th cap, so congratulations to her. Got herself a double in the first half. The forward pack set the platform. They just dominated the Brumbies, and it looked like a really interesting battle between both teams' back row. Chancellor and, Piper Duck, all these girls are going up against the Brumbies girls, the Sika Pesipalu, Bone. It was a great battle up front. But it seesawed. That first half, the Tars dominated. The second half, then, sort of to their credit, the Brumbies came right back and held one of the dominant teams to, no try in the second half. So, really great game. I think the Tars will be, going away and have to do a little bit more work. They'll be disappointed in letting them back in that second half. But, that's 2 from 2 for the Tars girls. They've got a bye now next week. So, fair amount of time to reset and get back on the road. Yeah,
there's a few things. Now, you mentioned Edie Burke. I did laugh seeing little Berkey almost try and steal the try off M. Chancellor there. Don't get in the way of the skipper's try. That's not a smart play. But also the Tars, on the first half, it was just really well managed in terms of dominating where the game was played. One thing about the Brumbies, they are a vastly improved team this year. 2 weeks in and we already know that Super Rugby Women looks about as tight as it's been in a long time. I thought the Brumbies were excellent in patches. That match, especially in the first 40, the Tars showed their class. But you mentioned, when a Waratahs team looks to take points in the second half, that says a lot about how much of an arm wrestle it was. They've still got a lot of improvement in them. They've got great depth of cattle, of course. But this Brumbies team, it's been good to see them improve. And then what's important now is just making sure that they manage those that are travelling, those that have depth off their bench and those sort of things. You've got to use your wider squad now in Super Rugby Women's. Everyone's saying, it's a sprint competition.
No.
But there's a high attrition rate. It's a very physical game, and there are some travel demands on it as well. So
Waratahs are missing a lot of players as well, so they've already had to go into the barrel for some depth. So it's a good win.
Excellent game. The second match of the round as well between the Drua and the Western Force. This one set up beautifully because the Drua had pushed the Waratahs all the way last week. The Force, as tipped and touted by Morgan Tourney, have a very strong squad in 2026 and look to have done enough. Going up 24-10 at one point, fellas.
Yeah, 30 to go, 24-10. Samantha Wood dominated the possession and the territory in that first half. Her kicking game was incredible. To be honest, the Force are probably a little bit disappointed they didn't come away with more points. She kept putting the ball in the corner. They were getting lots of 5-metre lineouts and they weren't able to capitalise on that. And then 30 minutes to go, led by the 10 Cora. She scored herself a double, came back and absolutely steamrolled the Force, which probably shows just that little bit of a lack of depth from the Force. That second half towards the last 30, just that little bit more that the Drua had, a little bit more skill, a little bit more flair coming off the bench, and they came away with it, which was disappointing, but the Force can definitely hold their head high. They had 5 debuts, and Herabar, Malcolm Heckett, 25 caps as well, so congratulations to those 6 girls. Fantastic game. They're looking for the first win, but they can hold their head high at this result.
Yeah, they'll take a lot out of it, the Western Force. Very bullish coaching staff, players and the organisation around their chances this year. They've been very, very explicit. We want to win this comp. So I think, maybe conditions over there just got to them at the back end. Fang, you make the great point around depth of bench, but also it's an energy sapping. Even those conditions look somewhat benign, but
heavy.
We all know that when you're there, it's heavy underfoot, it's humid at best, it's severely humid. And then Drua being Drua, whether it's the men or the women, they have a 15 to 20 minute period where there's an element of their game that they can accelerate. And it doesn't matter who you are, you can't stick with them. It's just whether you can control them and minimise the damage. The Force couldn't. I think that obviously Wood's the star there who can dominate where their game is played. A quality kicker in Super Rugby Women's is so important for general play and how you can manage the game, but also goal kicking as well. So, they're going to win a lot of games, the Force. They've got a good environment there, but that was a good win for the Drua in a tight competition.
So more Super W to come this weekend and more Hospital Cup, more Shoot Shield as well. And Shoot Shield matches, man, don't come much bigger than the Battle of the Beaches, the biggest club rugby derby in Australia, the biggest club rugby derby in Australia/New Zealand, maybe the Southern Hemisphere, maybe the world. Yep. Maybe the world. They had 7,000 down there at Manly Oval earlier in the year where it was the Rats who were too good for the Manly Marlins. And we've now got this coming weekend, fellas. It'll be the top place Rats Morgs against the Marlins. Which way do you see this unfolding up at Rat Park?
I'd have thought the Rats. Did I see Glenn Vaihu come out and play for Warringah on the weekend too? That's a pretty good mid-season, pickup in the midfield. Gee whiz, like they needed it. You've got to think Rats. But one thing, Sean, that I've seen over the years more reliable than Sean Maloney chopping and changing between Warringah and Manly.
Turn it up.
Is that this match, it's fair to say, doesn't always go to form, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's normally just just guys getting there having a crack. I can tell you this, though, it'll be absolutely heaving at Rat Park, where the Hillbillies will be doing their thing, led by Dangerous Daz Hawthorn and Toddy Marks and that crew. They've sent us a bunch of gear. Now, the Warringah crew said, can you get Morgs to wear a Rat's hat? Can you get Fang to wear a Rat's hat? And I said, unlikely. However, I'll throw it on set for you. So on the weekend, they'll be there on the far side cheering their men against the Marlins.
Hang on, have they just bought Bunnings hats and just changed?
They're a wily bunch, the Hillbillies. They're a very wily bunch, the Hillbillies up at Warringah. So they are top of the table at the moment and up against the Manly team, who are desperate for victory in, as I said, the biggest club rugby matchup in Australia, nay, New Zealand, nay, the world.
Cecil will be losing it.
Cecil
This will be a
Hildebrand?
big week for Cecil.
A big week for Cecil Wiedemeyer. No doubt about that. Men, before we go, I had a request on the World Wide Webs from one of our long-time viewers around potentially doing a BTP Q&A. That comes from Alex Gordon, who said, guys, can you do what they do on Inside Line? And on that week where there's not much doing, can you just sort of cop some questions from the BTP fans? And I said, let me float it with the team. What do you reckon? Can we do that for them? For Gordo?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, we can.
You look pensive.
I resent being compared to Inside Line and Atco, like throwing out who has questions on X. Because I feel like the BTP viewers, they'll ask actually good questions.
Well, Gordo's clearly got a couple of beauties in the wholesale ready to
then
go.
Atco won't have any questions for Wednesday.
I just think, well, what are they going to talk about?
Because, you know where the fans are coming.
Yeah, so like there's the BTP viewer.
Yeah.
Then there's, anyway.
And also a shout out to West Scarborough and the Wanneroo women's team as well. That came from Johnny Pettis. Grand final rematch. Game of the week. Absolute nail biter. Thanks, Johnny, for the shout.
We mentioned Hospitals Cup and Shoot, but also Fortescue, you get that on Stan's platform as well. So you get some Western Australian club rugby as well in Perth.
How will you guys enjoy the GF this coming Saturday? Pub? Home? Where will you watch?
I'll be at Coogee Oval. In the afternoon, and then, got to find somewhere.
Find somewhere in Coogee.
Maybe the Pav in the corner.
I tell you what, the Stain did it well the other day. Big sports bar, TV. It was heaving down there on Saturday night. Very, very cool.
Well, yeah, I nearly lost a child there.
Yep.
My son played at Manly Oval, and then was I'm going to. He's still coming back from injury. He's not 100%. And he's like, I've got to look after myself. I'm not
Very
drinking.
responsible, yeah.
I get a photo from Ellie Chapman on the board now at Manly, who worked with us here at 9 and Stan. Beer in hand with Ellie. Then 40 minutes later, I get a photo with S. Maloney, beer in hand there. Then he's with Crazy.
Good influence. You're like this side.
He put a bigger shift in at the roundy than he did at the Manly Oval, let me tell you that. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. I'll be watching every minute of it, including the coverage from our good friends at Sky NZ. And, of course, that will be coming off the back of watching Manly take on the Rats on Shoot Shield. Good luck to you and yours in the decider this weekend. If it's the Chiefs or Canes, it'll be a hell of a match right here on your home of rugby, Stan Sport.